Hello, here I am, and welcome. I'm trying to thread a needle, and it looks like it's bright here, but it's really quite dark for me. The lights are all pointing in a different direction. There. I didn't think I was going to be able to get that done. Okay, I threaded a needle. Okay. So this is alive, and it is supposed to be a fun, safe place for us to talk about sewing, all the things that we love to do in our hobby. And get rid of that piece of equipment. I don't need that. I have wires everywhere, so. Cindy, hi, how are you? She says, how am I? I am good. Linda is here. Hello, Linda. So usually I talk about what I've been doing this week. I think I promised you, or I thought my sister might be able to be here, but she decided she's out with friends, which is great because she's not home for very long. And so she's not going to be here. But you asked if she could sew, and she made a few things. Hello, Christine. How are you? So this is hand embroidered out of, let's see, do I have anything that might be able to see it better maybe? Lucy, hello and welcome. Welcome everyone. This one's cute. She did that as well. And I did this. And she did this. So she is very good at sewing. Probably better than me. So she made a few things to show you. So someone asked me about doing this chain stitch. There, that's showing up pretty good. It's an embroidery stitch. And you can use it, I think it kind of makes these look like frosting, like cookies with frosting. Anyway, so I had a little play to see if I could do it, and I thought maybe I would show you guys how to do it. It is a cute way to do an ornament. And these shapes are from cookie cutters, actual cookie cutters. So there. And just a variety of different stitches. She used a French knot, a chain stitch, and just, I guess you would call it a back stitch. People are saying that they are very cute, and yes, they are kind of adorable. So, and these are just from a cookie cutter shape. So this is a bell. And my sister just did this with her own imagination, no pattern or anything. A cookie cutter, and it's all freehand. Didn't draw anything, although you could, it would help you. So I also had my last sewing class of the year. with the tailor Carol, and we did a couple things that we did in our class. The computer is sitting on the first one. Is hand stitch piping. So this is not very exciting, but that's done by hand. You can tell here that it's all hand stitched on. So this is the wrong side that I just showed you, and then this is the right side. So you hand stitch your piping in, which doesn't take as long as you would think, and then you do a little pin stitch to hold the seam down, unless of course you're lining it. And you can do this on a cushion or whatever. So like our teacher said, if you don't have a sewing machine, it doesn't mean you can't sew. And I am the first person to say, oh, I wouldn't want to hand stitch that. But actually, it doesn't really take that long. So that was one of the things we did in the class. It's just like to practice your hand stitching. And the other thing we did was rolled hem. So this is what I did in class, and you're probably not going to be able to see it. So that's the wrong side, and this is the right side. To do a very narrow hem. Now I have some done here. I also have one a different colored thread. So what is this? I think you can just barely see the stitches there. And then if I pull this, it just instantly goes into a rolled hem, which is so cool. And I'm sure some of you already know this. So this is what it looks like. This is dark thread. So you fold one edge down just once, like this. That's just folded once. So you would have that pressed, and then you sew just below the hem. Take a little bite of the fabric just below. Let's see if I can point at it, just below the hem, and then come to the top and take a little bite just above the fold. And then after you do a few, and let's see if we can do this so you can see it. When you pull it, and then this is the wrong side. So, and Sue is here. I hope you're feeling better, Sue. And everyone's saying hello to everyone. So that is such a tiny hem. I'll hide my face so it could, so I hope you could have seen that. It's so cool and so satisfying to do because you're like, oh, because it rolls in on itself and it's so simple and it doesn't really take that long to do. So if you had a silk scarf that you had to rehem, I always wondered how they did those tiny hems, and I guess I kind of knew how to do it, but I don't know, just to try it and do it, it's so cool. So I was really excited to learn how to do that. Um, that would come in handy on so many things, like on tulip sleeves, like anything that's cut on the bias that's really hard to sew on your machine. And I don't care, it takes a long time to do a tiny hem like that on your machine because you have to basically sew it once and then trim it and then sew it again, like to get something to hang on to roll it. And this doesn't really take that long. Now, if you were doing a great big giant dress, like a circle hem on a skirt or something, and had miles and miles of it to do, yes, it would take a long time. But on something that, like a sleeve hem or something, it's just so worth doing it, I think. And you can control how big your hem is. I don't know if I'll be able to show this, but, and maybe you're not really that interested, but yeah, I'm not going to be able to show it just by waving it at you in the camera. But it is very satisfying to see it roll up once you're done. And it's very simple to do. So I was pretty excited about that because I will definitely be using this in finishes that I am doing. Actually, the dress has been hanging here off to the side. I don't know if I'll be able to show it, but it's like a crepe chiffon. I'll be able to hem it using this technique. And we'll see how much I still like it. But you can just, it's very simple to do. Let's see, do it again. And it just disappears. Okay. So I was really excited to learn how to do that, and I just think that's really cool. So I will definitely be doing that in the future. And it doesn't take as long as you think it does, because I know from trying to hem things on the sewing machine eats the fabric, especially if you're trying to do a really fine hem on a fine piece of fabric like chiffon or something. It just, I don't care what kind of feet you have or whatever, you're always going to come to a spot that's going to be a problem, like on a corner. And this you can control. It's just, it's worth knowing how to do it. So Sue says she's feeling much better. Finally. Yes, that was a long time and we missed you not being on the lives because I knew you were not feeling well. Um, Everyone's saying, I'm glad that you're feeling better. Edna says that would make a nice hem on Yes Chiffon and other very fine fabrics. Um, yes, it would, Edna. You were right, like on silk scarves. I know I've seen silk scarves with the very fine hem, and I thought, I wonder how they do that. I always thought it was called a handkerchief hem. I don't know why. But that is so tiny. I just love it. I think it's so cool. Sue says I use band roll for those hems. Excellent tip and point. And I know Sue does not like hand sewing. So yeah, it's not going to come undone. Like it's very secure. Like you can see that is just tiny. And I'm even using a dark thread, and you can't. I'm using navy thread on white, and you just see those little pin marks. I was impressed. I thought it was cool. And it says to think I just learned something new. Well, hopefully you did. I was pretty excited. Actually, all three of us in the class were like, when you pull the thread and you watch it curl up, it's very cool. Sue says it does make a beautiful hem. It does. And it's handy if you know you can't do a nice job on your sewing machine. I've done some hems in my day and think that does not look good. That will give you a much nicer finish to things that are hard to hem. You can use it on a neckline and you can adjust how big the hem is. Like, but it definitely makes a nice tiny hem that would be very difficult to do on a sewing machine without like saying taking extra steps on your sewing machine. You would have to sew it like 2 and 3 times to get that type of hem to be precise. Yeah. So what is everybody working on now? I was teaching myself to do this little, of course I did not make this, my sister did. She was feeling bad that she couldn't be here tonight, so yes. So that is called the chain stitch. Now let's see if I can, I have some red thread here. See if, and it does look nice even if you just do it around. It doesn't have to be fancy. Makes it look kind of like a cookie. So let's see, I have some beige calico, I guess, here, and some red embroidery floss. And I'm actually going to wax it just to, probably not supposed to, but that's very tangly. All right, so I'm going to tie a knot. So I just wanted to share my excitement with you about the rolled hem. I was excited to learn that. And it is very simple to do. All right. And I probably shouldn't tell you this, but I got my first real negative comment on YouTube this week. Cindy says I made 8 of the tiny stocking hat ornaments that Angela from Devon Thread Tales made on one of her Vlogmas videos. Nice. I'm going to have to check that out to see what they look like. So I put a knot in the back of my thread, brought the needle through, and then however long I want my chains to be, and then go back up to where I started, like so. Makes sense? And see if I can go to the middle of the camera. I can't see what I'm showing you. So I went all the way through without so it's just 3 points. It's kind of like doing, and then I'm gonna go to however long I want my chain to be here, and I'm gonna go back in that loop where I just brought the thread out again. And I'm not going to pull it all the way because I need to save that loop. Now that I'm doing it this way, it seems like I'm doing it wrong, but no, I'm not. So you have your loop, and you just want to the red is showing up. So if you were doing this for the first time, you could do measurements like little dots with a pen. Do I have one? So, oh, it'd help if it was open. You can do little dots. This is crooked, but it'll give you a general idea. So if you used a ruler, there I made some dots on there. And you just keep going the same way. Just don't pull it all the way through, because you'll lose your loop. And I have too much thread here. What's happening? There. So let's do it again. Because it seems like I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. So I put the needle through the hole. I'm going to go back up to where it came out. Going to make sure that I am through that. Yep. And then go to your next loop and make sure you come up through here again. So you're just always looping through the top. I'm sure there's some other place on the internet you can see this better. And however tight you pull it. There. Sue says I use that stitch to make open petals when I used to do hand embroidery. Actually, it's just slightly different because you're not holding down the end with a stitch. That would be like a single petal. I know what you mean. That is called something else, I think. But it is very similar. And you could actually even do it that way if you wanted. But you're just always looping through because you're not ending it. So it's actually called the chain stitch. I know which one you mean, Sue. And you are correct. It's very similar. And me waving it around in front of the camera is not a good way to show you either. But that is how you do make this. This is just smaller. So you can adjust how big your chain is. So, and I think my sister did it the same way I did. Yes, she did. So there you go. Yes, and I seen it because when I first seen it, Sue, I thought that's what I thought it was. But it is not the exact, yes, it's like to make daisies or something, like to make a petal or a leaf. And actually, that one, well, let's do that one, shall we? If I remember how to do it, we'll do it right now. Trying to do embroidery in midair is, oh, it's difficult. So we will do a loop. I can kind of see through this. So much for waxing my thread. It's not working. Okay. And then you would put a stitch in the end to hold it in place. Oh my goodness. Kind of like that. And yes, I suppose I could look this up. I'm not doing a bang up job of it, but and it seems like I'm talking a lot about hand stitches lately. But kind of like that. And then the stitch secures it in place, I think. I can't remember the name of that stitch either, but I know what you mean. Edna says negative comments are to be ignored, maybe even blocked, not to get upset over. Bronwyn, hello. You're never late. Whenever you can drop by, it's great. Um, as for everyone. Yes. Well, YouTube doesn't recognize negative comments as being negative. It recognizes it as interaction. So even if somebody leaves a negative comment, it's best to answer it because, or to at least acknowledge it. If it was really bad, I would block it, but it wasn't. It was probably true, actually, but that's okay. Um, yeah, so I've been thinking about a lot about my channel lately, trying to think of ways to make it better and move forward and maybe change things up. We'll see. So, yes, it's good to. Anyway, so that is a couple more Christmas ornaments. That was my sister just worked on this in an evening. So it's not like that took forever to make. Um, yeah, and I think she finished this one because I did the front and then she did the back. I started to sew it together and then she finished it. So, yeah, it didn't take very long to do. That was just a couple nights this week. We worked on those. It's nice to get do some kind of hand sewing or do something with your hands so you're not thinking about other things. And yeah, so I just like them. Somebody, as I said earlier, somebody asked me to show them how to do this chain stitch. It kind of looks like frosting on brown felt. Felt ornaments are always fun to make. You can make these with children once you learn a couple of stitches. And you can use beads and things to decorate instead of doing embroidery stitches if you want. And like I said, cookie cutters. And actually, I think I traced one of these ornaments to get this star shape. And then this is just a cookie cutter I traced. I haven't done anything with this one yet. So, how many people are all ready for Christmas? This is Friday the 13th, and we're halfway to Christmas, I guess. Bronwyn says she loves the gingerbread. Yep. So, yes, you can make these in an evening, and it's a good way to get, if your children are old enough to use a needle and thread, which I know I did stuff like that when I was 6 and up with parent supervision. But once you get to know something like that, it's just methodical and you can learn to do it. Bronwyn says, I'm done shopping, even did some for my parents. Wow. Lucy said, I'm almost ready for Christmas. Linda says, that's a great idea and really cute. Edna says, I'm not in the Christmas mode yet. Very good. Lots of people aren't. And Linda says, not me. You're not ready? Cindy says, I'm done shopping, but nothing wrapped yet. Maybe this weekend. Yes, I'm not, I don't, my sister goes back to work before Christmas. So we're doing a turkey dinner tomorrow. So I guess and tomorrow is her birthday. So we're going to do a turkey dinner, and I've already given her the few tiny gifts that I was giving her for birthday/Christmas. And yes, so we're just going to be hanging out and visiting family. And we will do our turkey dinner tomorrow. Brahma says, what sides are you having with your turkey dinner? Well, nothing fancy really. Stuffing, the usual. My sister likes sweet potatoes. So we'll have sweet potato. Probably carrots, cauliflower, beans, like a mixture of vegetables. Since it's just going to be the two of us, we're not going to have a ton of vegetables because I usually do squash and I don't know, probably a couple other vegetables, but probably that because that's what's in the fridge. And obviously stuffing. Did I say that? Mashed potatoes, gravy. And I bought a chocolate cake, a little tiny one, because I didn't know if I'd have time. And of course, cranberries. Gonna have cranberries. Cranberries, gravy, stuffing, turkey. The usual suspects. Nothing very exciting. Nothing fancy. Sue says, I'm scared to go out of my house to shop, so what shopping I've done has been online. Yes. Everybody is getting really bad colds and stuff. Cindy says, my youngest son's birthday is today. Oh, well, happy birthday. They just went out to supper with him tonight. That's always nice. Good. I'm glad. I hope you had a good time. Lucy, I only have one grandson, so I don't have a lot to buy for. Yes, I don't either. I just picked up a couple of small things for my sister, and I gave her a gift card so she could buy some things that she knew she wanted. Linda says, never ready, love the rush. And Lucy says, sounds yummy. Brahma says, yum, sounds tasty to me. Yes, everybody does have certain vegetables they have with their turkey. Some people like Brussels sprouts, which would be good. But I decided everything, the fridge is full of food, so we have lots to eat. So I don't want to make even more stuff because it's only the two of us. So you can only eat so much. So, but yeah, what is everybody's favorite vegetable to have with their turkey dinner? I know some people do asparagus. I suppose it's whatever you have readily available. It's always very common to have squash, like buttercup squash or something or the way I grew up, my parents always did squash. So, turkey for your birthday sounds like a good deal. Yeah. Bronwyn says definitely mashed potatoes, and I like Brussels sprouts. Yes. Yeah, Brussels sprouts are good. There's a whole bunch of different ways to make them. Oh, Edna, her and her turnip. Turnip is not my favorite. Turnip and cranberries. That's one thing that is not my fridge, is turnip. Sue says mashed potatoes and butter beans. Oh, that sounds good. Lucy says, I don't make turkey for Christmas, only for Thanksgiving. Yes, that's true too. Everybody does different things. Yes, I also have a ham in the freezer, so I could have done a ham, but my sisters wanted a turkey dinner, so I said, well, we might as well do it on your birthday because she's not going to be here for Christmas. So that's what we're doing. So that'll be good. So I guess I'm going to be cooking tomorrow, making dressing and that kind of thing. So, but it shouldn't be too much. Edna said she's laughing because she knows that I'm not a big turnip lover. And she says, yeah, I know you like squash. I will eat turnip, but it's not my favorite. Lucy says, I make our traditional Italian meal like lasagna and lamb. Nice. That sounds delicious. Yes, everybody has their own traditions, which is amazing. Oh, I love that. And lamb. Sounds very good. Sue says, I hear Remy snoring. Yes. I have 2 pieces of washed fabric all folded up nice and neat on my table here because I was going to cut them out and she has been sleeping on them. So they are now they get cat hair all over them. Bronwyn says to Lucy, when do I show up for dinner? And Lucy's laughing, saying Christmas Day. So, yeah. You better get going, Bronwyn. Definitely. That would be nice. Yes, if I am going to eat turnip, I like to add apple to it when it's cooking and pour a little bit of vinegar in it. And Edna just is going, no, don't do that. But if I'm going to eat it, that's the way I cook it. Yeah. I can eat it that way a little bit. Lucy says it's a good excuse to visit Ontario. Yes. To have some of Lucy's amazing cooking. Excellent idea. For sure. Yes, so we did not tonight, but last night, me and my sister had some Chinese food takeout. So we did that, and yeah. Cindy says, I add butter and brown sugar to turnip when I mash it. Yeah, instead, if you just cut up an apple in your turnip when it's like when you're gonna cook it. And then when you mash it, just add like some vinegar to it, like a tablespoon of vinegar. Takes the bitterness of the turnip out. And then the apple is the sweet, so you don't have to add the sugar. Sue says, I like turnips with cornbread dumplings. Well, that sounds good, Sue. And it says, I think apple with the turnip would taste good. It does taste good. Yeah, you just cut it up. You'll have to try it and then see if you like it. And then add a little bit of vinegar. My father always used to do that whenever he made turnip that I would have to eat. I can eat it that way, but it's not my favorite. Lucy says, I also like to make turkey on New Year's Day. Yeah, a lot of people do that as well. Some I know in Nova Scotia, a lot of people make chowder or do a ham. Lucy says, I like the sweet and savory combinations. Yes. Cindy's idea for brown sugar in the turnip is definitely would work. But yeah, that was something my father always used to do when he made turnip. It was just the thing to do. Telling you secret cooking things. Bronwyn says, I am going to Portland for Christmas. We are doing a turducken. Should be interesting. Yes, apparently they take a very long time to cook. That would be interesting. I would like to hear how you like it. Be interesting to know. And so Canadian Diane says, I love turnips too, Edna. I think I'll try the apple and vinegar tip though, thanks. Yeah, it is good. Yep, just an apple and then not a lot of vinegar though, just a little bit. You can just barely taste it, like a tablespoon is probably more than enough. And then it says, I will have to try it. I think I'm going to have ham this year. Oh, very nice. Sounds good. I love ham. So, what is turducken? It is a turkey that has a duck, and I thought it also had pheasant in it as well, but I'm probably wrong because I've never had it. So, Bronwyn, you go ahead and tell us. I've heard about it though. It's like a turkey that has a duck inside it, and I thought it had something else in it, but I might be wrong. Diane says cooking with Sherry. Yeah, there's a show you don't want to have. Uh, oh, okay, chicken. Okay, I was thinking pheasant. I don't know why. Bronwyn says turkey stuffed with a duck, stuffed with the chicken. So it's like three different things all inside a turkey, like layers. Is duck easy to cook? Duck it cooks pretty much same as turkey, but it's very greasy. I find. I've had it before, and it is good. And I think that's why the turducken it makes the turkey apparently really moist. I believe because you have all the juices of everything intermingling together. Very technical cooking terms. I hope I'm making you laugh because I am cracking myself up. Anyway, yeah, so it is kind of interesting to hear what other people are having for planning to have for their Christmas dinners. What about dessert? That can always be a bit of contentious issue sometimes. People are very strict about what they have for dessert. Lucy says, I've ordered it once and found it to be really fatty. Yes. I find it's very greasy, like greasy, fatty, yeah. And I believe goose is like that too. It's very greasy. The goosey gander. So yes, we'd love to hear what everybody's favorite dessert is for Christmas. If it's a traditional plum pudding, or maybe your families have some other kind of um, oh, traditions that they have. Sue says, I make a banana pudding from scratch for dessert every year, and they all love it. Ooh, nice. Sounds good, Sue. Cindy says, I cooked 2 goose breasts in the slow cooker, and it was delicious. Actually, yes. Um, I've heard that too as well. Goose breast cooked separately. You can also barbecue it, and it is supposed to be very good grilling it. But when you cook the whole goose, it can be a really greasy. It's just different than turkey, obviously. Lucy says, I've never had goose. I'm not sure if I actually have. I just know I've seen it. I don't know if I've actually eaten it. I don't remember it if I did. I probably have had it. Bronwyn says, Mom usually makes a cranberry pudding, but I'm going to my cousin's, so I told her to do what called to her, I'll eat it. What called to her, I'll eat it. So you're having a different plan, Bronwyn. I'm missing a word in there, so I know it's hard for you guys to type everything right quick when I ask you a question. And it says, I like apple crisp or cheesecake for dessert. Yeah, I think my favorite is apple pie. Lucy says, Edna, you're making me hungry. Yes, Lucy, what do you like for dessert? Love to know. And Diane. And Linda, if you're still there. Would love to know what you were planning on. And did Cindy tell us? No, she didn't. What her favorite Christmas dessert is. I like different things, but I do like apple pie. I like gingerbread cake with, or what do you call it? Be Oh, I can't remember the name, but now, anyways, like a gingerbread cake with a butterscotch sauce instead of the traditional lemon sauce. Butterscotch sauce is way better than the other ones that people normally do. Um, Diane says pumpkin pie. Excellent, Diane. That's a very popular one. Lucy says cheesecake. Linda says she makes 2 Portuguese desserts usually, flan pudding and camel spit. Is that what you're saying, or is it caramel? Both are the quickest, easiest ever. Sounds interesting. Sue says, is Christine still here? Christine usually likes to watch on her TV, so she can't always comment, but she probably is still here. Um, Christine is an excellent cook as well. She's always making interesting things. Cindy says apple pie or cherry pie is a favorite. Mm-hmm. Edna says, I'm making myself hungry as well. I think I'll have to make a snack before I go to bed, Lucy. And Linda says, oh, it is camel spit. Oh, that's interesting. I'll have to ask some people at work, see if they're making that for um, their Christmas. Lucy says, I love those Portuguese pastries. They are delish. And Linda says, I always cook for about 20. Oh my goodness. 20 people. You'd have to rent a hall to get everybody in there. Wow. Well, that's nice that you have lots of people coming over. That'll be great. So, yes, picking simple, quick things to make. I can see why you're doing that for 20 people. Holy moly. Wild. That it'll be lively at Linda's. She wouldn't even notice we were there. Just all blend in. Linda says, I have 6 kids and 5 grandkids plus a bonus grandchild. Wow. Linda says that's true. Yes, it would be. It would be a lively household for sure. That's amazing. That's awesome. Bronwyn says everyone's desserts sound yummy. Yes, they do. Well, I'm going to be asking people at work about that. I guess this week at work they're having, I don't know what it is, a snack day. I've never seen them do this before. You're supposed to bring something that everybody can eat, I guess. I don't know. I'm just going to make some cookies. I had an idea that I could make chocolate shortbread and maybe put some mint icing on them and then put chocolate over top. That might be good. I don't know if it'll work though. I might give it a try. See. We'll see. We'll see if I still feel like making cookies after I make a turkey dinner. Oh dear. So yes. And I've learned 2 Portuguese phrases, and I don't think I say them correctly, but everybody answers me. What do I say? Bom dia, which means good morning, and then good afternoon because the sun is still up if we actually ever see the sun. We did see the sun today. Boa tarde. How'd I do, Linda? I've been trying to learn some Portuguese where Linda says perfect pronunciation. Really? Because I thought I was butchering it. But they're always, if it's somebody I haven't worked with before and they hear me say it, they're right surprised. They're like, Sue says, I've been put on quarantine until the first of the year due to my weakened immune system, so there'll be slim pickings for us. Oh, no. Well, hopefully somebody will go shopping for you, Sue. I hope. Yes, because you don't want to get sick again, Sue, after you were sick for a while. So I hope somebody goes shopping for you, Sue. And it says, I hope you get enough rest and feel all better. And Sue says, my daughter will. She's been a star. Oh, awesome. I'm glad to hear it. Because I can't make it to Alabama. Go shopping for you, Sue. Although I'd like to. And this says, sorry to hear that, Sue. Hope you're on the mend fast and get lots of rest. Yes. Yes. Oh my goodness. We've been on here for over an hour. It's been lovely catching up with everyone and hearing about everybody's little traditions that they have. That is always fun. And that's all I have for now. I am so happy that you decided to drop by and say hello. And it's always fun to chat with all of you. I'm very grateful that you do. And I will talk to you again next week, I hope. Take care, everyone. Have a great weekend.